Hello YouTube. Today I want to talk about Page Optimizer Pro and this amazing offer they're running for this week through Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It is 50% off their Agency Unlimited plan, which is pretty amazing because usually this is like $780, and they're offering it for $390 through this week, which is pretty nuts because it has a ton of features that are going to be useful for you, well beyond what you get in a standard plan. Now, of course, the standard plan is still very useful. It still gives you all the features you need to fine-tune your pages accordingly, but this just gives you a few extra things that I think are extremely useful, especially in this day and age of Google machine learning and the whole EAT thing, otherwise known as EAT. So we're going to talk about some of the features offered and why this is a pretty fantastic deal from the guys at Pop. This is one of my favorite SEO tools. I've made multiple videos about it. Absolutely love this for on-page. It's really the best out there, and it keeps getting better. They keep adding great new elements. Pretty much with every Google update, it seems there's new elements within this tool that are going to help you beat it. So yeah, let's dive into some of the great things here. So first and foremost, the piece of this tool that I love the most is the EAT analysis feature. Of course, EAT we know is expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness. These are all things that are becoming more and more crucial for SEO, right? You need to make sure that if you're a medical site, you have properly, cited sources. You're using doctor signatures in the byline, things like that. So Pop makes this a lot easier to track. And with this new EAT analysis feature, it'll let you know what your competitors are doing better than you authoritatively. So what sort of authority signals are they sending that you aren't? And what do you need to add to your page to make it more authoritative? Again, this comes with the agency plan. It's a fantastic feature. I love it. Then there's the Google AI analysis tool, which kind of channels more of the machine learning from Google. And this is going to give you a sense of what topics your page is covering. Now, I know it sounds kind of obvious, oh, we're optimizing for certain keywords, so naturally Google's going to recognize us for this topic. Well, that sort of is and it isn't the case, right? Because we're beyond the days of just keyword stuffing, using the same keyword over and over again in our headers, our paragraph text, and so forth. Now it's much more important to use different terms to bring home the point. And Google now with machine learning is very intelligent, and they're looking for more than just a certain keyword throughout the piece. So Pop makes this really simple. They're going to show you exactly the different topic clusters that Google is recognizing you for your page, and they're going to show you what your competition is doing and how you can match it. Really fantastic feature within this agency plan. And then also a couple great agency features here. There is sub-level user access, so you can have 1 to 5 accounts, I believe, for SEO contractors or content managers or whoever needs access within your team, rather than just giving out one login info for everyone, which is a hassle and not easy to do. You can have you can give each person their own login information so that they can be logged in separately at the same time. And then white label PDF, this is really nice as well when you're working with clients. Clients like to see the pretty numbers that Pop shows. They like to see their page go from a 30 to a 90. So this makes it really easy to do that, and you can slap your logo on it, and it's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to hop into Pop now, and I'm going to show you a couple of these features in action. I'm going to use just kind of a couple random sites that I'm not associated with, but I'm just going to use them for an example's sake. So let's hop in. So the first page I'm going to show you is targeting the term Plumbing Phoenix. And again, these are random pages. I'm not affiliated with this site by any means. They are not a client of mine. I'm just picking it as an example. This site or this page happened to be on page 2 of Google for the keyword Plumbing Phoenix. So I'm using it to see how it could possibly get up to page 1. So this, again, just an example here. All right, so here is our report, right? And it's pretty much going to look the same whether you have an agency plan or a regular user plan. You're still going to have all these recommendations here, these visual graphs, kind of showing you, giving you a visual representation of what you're de-optimized for, what you need to improve your optimization on. So that's really helpful. Good for client facing if you need that. And then of course the recommendations tab. So it shows you what exact match keywords you need, what variations you need. And these are all recommendations based on the competitors we entered. So again, this example site was on page 2 for the term plumbing Phoenix. So all the competitors we entered were competitors that were on page 1. And the key with POP, and I've said this before and it still applies, you really want to make sure your competitors are apples to apples comparisons to your site. So you don't want to use Yelp, you don't want to use Home Advisor. You want to make sure they're the same kind of website as your own. So if you have a local business, it should be another local business site. It should not be a directory site like Yelp, because their results are going to be vastly different than what you need in most cases. So again, we get all these great features that I've talked about in the past to optimize our page. Keyword variations, so these are obviously variations of plumbing Phoenix. And LSI, excuse me, LSI is very important as well. This sort of goes into the topical clusters that I was talking about, topical categories, right? So by using these different terms, and obviously you have to use common sense. You don't want to just use names that are here because it's pulling names from competitor sites, and this isn't, the word Anthony isn't the reason why we would rank for this term, obviously, but use some common sense here and sort of pick out the terms that make sense. Mention water heater. If you're a plumbing site, mention water heaters, repairs, commercial, tech, toilets, things like that, and kind of go through your content and make sure that you're using all those terms, and give them to your writers and sort of articulate that to your writers as well. So on and so forth, word count, everything like that. But the main part of this video is the schema features, so I'm just going to kind of skip into that right now because I want you to see this. So again, this comes with the agency plan, and this is really incredible. Really incredible that they're offering this for 50% off. Basically, so here's the EAT analysis feature that I mentioned. Again, expertise, authority, and trust. So now we see, here's our page, and here are all the factors that we have that factor into EAT, right? So we see in green, we have contact details, which is great. We have an About Us page, and this lends credibility, right? If you have an About Us page, that shows that you're probably a real business. You have a real backstory. You have, you talk about the founders, the doctors, the technicians, whoever the people in charge are, who the team is. That's really important for EAT. Person schema. So schema markup is really important as well, and of course they have their own section up here for schema within POP, which is super useful. This might be one of the most useful features in POP is the schema feature, because you really get an idea of some of the top ranking sites, how they're representing themselves through schema. And in addition to this, I would recommend obviously grabbing each of these URLs and running it through the Google Structured Data Testing tool, just to kind of get a more in-depth look at the schema they're using, kind of see what types they're using within each piece of schema, what additional information they're sharing, and things like that, because that could be really useful. But back to the EAT page, we can see that our site can improve in really, when it comes to social media. They're lacking social media links, so that's one area that we'd want to look at. Twitter description, Twitter card. These are little things, but again, they add credibility. A blog. So, if we're missing a blog, that could be, not only is that important for EAT, but it's important for getting extra content on our site, for ranking additional terms, for fleshing out certain topics, for answering questions, for getting rich snippets, for landing Google featured snippets in search. It's all very important for that. As well as organization schema. That's really, really important, especially for a homepage. We want to make sure we have specific information about our business, address details, so on and so forth. Terms of service page, very important for credibility. Email address, awards if we have any of that. So you kind of get a sense of where the big EAT metrics are here. And again, it's great that we can just scroll through these competitors. These are all page one competitors that we can see, okay, this person has this, and we only have these. So we need to add a blog page, terms of service, da-da-da. And this is, this is going to help you rank. This is really important stuff for EAT. It's insane that Pop is able to collect this data so quickly. It does take a little bit longer to run a scan with EAT enabled. Takes maybe another 10 minutes or so. It says it can take up to 25, but I haven't found it to take that long. So yeah, about 10 extra minutes, but totally worth it because it gives you all this information that can help you optimize your page. It's a little bit like Quora now. It's starting to become, for those who are familiar with the Quora software, I know that the creators of Pop and Quora are obviously friendly, but there's a lot of information on here now that sort of that you've been able to find in Quora in the past as well. So really interesting to see this, and I'm excited to see what 2020 brings. Obviously, Pop is continually expanding, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of additional great features to see in the coming year. But now let's skip into the Google entities. So this is what I was talking about when I was talking about AI analysis. So this is, again, figuring out what our entities are, what our topics are, what is our page about. And here we can see, here's our target URL. So this is the site we're using in the scan. We can see this is what Google is classifying us for, right? So we're based in Phoenix, so obviously Arizona. Okay, good. It knows our location. That's a good sign. Phoenix Metropolitan, so it knows our specific location, which is even better. It knows we do commercial to an extent. It knows that we have career options, which is a good EAT metric as well. We have hiring options. We have emergency plumbing, which is good. If someone searches emergency plumbing Phoenix, we might pop up pretty quickly for that. Obviously, we have plumbing professionals here. So these are all the entities, the topics that we cover, and here's kind of the overall category that Google's AI would slot us into, right? So it'd be home and garden, home improvement / plumbing, fairly broad category, but it's good to make sure that this is correct. If this was something like toy making, then we know we'd have a problem. So good to just double check this, make sure that your site is giving off the right entity signals. And then we can also look at our competitors. And again, this is where this tool becomes really robust, right? We see that our competitors, maybe have a little bit higher score for plumbers. Maybe they have a few other things that we don't have. Water treatment. Okay, that might be something interesting to add to our content. They have, water heat. They're hitting pretty high for us. So these could be things, again, in our content that we might want to incorporate. And they also have more categories than we do. They're triggering multiple home and garden categories. They're pulling up business and industrial, construction and maintenance, building supplies. So it could be one of those things where they happen to offer specific supplies that maybe they sell individually in addition to the services. And if we don't do that, then we may be out of luck. But if there is kind of a way we can incorporate that, then maybe we can start appearing for that category as well. And then you look down the list and you see kind of what everyone else is doing. There's another one with similar categories. And then you look and see, okay, this is what they're showing up for. Okay, AZ like us, plumbing services, bathroom plumbing, kitchen plumbing, home residential. And you can obviously discuss these on your page. You can also build out additional pages if you feel like some of these are a little bit veering into different topics. Like video camera detection, water heaters, toilet backflow services, stuff like that. Coupons. Do we have coupons? Are we presenting our discounts? Do we have discounts for certain groups like military, seniors? So yeah, really helpful stuff here. It's pretty incredible, again, that they're able to pull up all this data so quickly. It just takes a few minutes. It's really not a long process. and you basically just can go through all these competitors and see what they're doing, and what areas can you compete with on your site. So yeah, that's kind of the simple, quick rundown. I don't want to make this video that much longer because I think it just gets too boring. But that is the breakdown of this amazing agency plan that's available. So I'm going to include a link in the description, sending you out to the agency plan page, and you can pick it up there. Again, 50% off through Black Friday. Pretty amazing deal. I love Page Optimizer Pro. Been using it for over a year, and I'm really excited to see how it continues to grow in the coming year. It's just fantastic. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and best of luck.